Hello YouTubers, Joe Kersey here. On Sunday, October 13th, 2013, at around, well, not quite 2 o'clock Eastern time. Oh, I made a major tactical error here. Well, there we go. I love the earpieces, but when you take them off, it takes 2 hands to put them back on sometimes. So my plan had been, I was gonna kind of sweep the porch with you guys. See, you can see all the leaves here, right? And I thought I'll just bring out the broom and kind of sweep the porch while I talk to the camera. And well, then better sense prevailed, as it sometimes does and sometimes doesn't. And so then I thought, well, I'd written down a list of stuff yesterday that I thought, well, here's some stories I might tell. Maybe not all one day, but you never know. Maybe I will. But so I thought, well, I'll talk about that a bit, and I might actually, but as is usually the case, unless you're being some sort of postmodern artiste, it's generally good to begin at the beginning. So I went to church this morning. I went to the 8 o'clock service. Now I awakened at 4:30, and I checked my email because I've become obsessive about that. And there's nothing to read in the Wall Street Journal because they don't do anything on Sunday, and it's all this political update about all this government shutdown, budget deficit stuff, which what's going to happen is going to happen. There's nothing I can do about it. I mean, I like to sort of pay attention to it, and I'm a political junkie, I'm the first to tell you that, but I'm not going to, I'm just not going to pay too much attention to it. I've got other things going on. I mean, if I got to worry about something, I'll worry about something in my life. So went to church, no deer ran across the road in front of me. No near accidents. That's good. Now last Sunday, a whole flock of deer, so to speak, ran across the road in front of me. But I saw them, so I was able to stop in time. Fortunately, it's that time of year. It gets kind of foggy out in the fields, and they roam around, and it's worse in Michigan. Now I got down to this intersection where I usually turn to go to church, and they had put some cones up, but I still went around the cones and turned, and then the road was shut down at the railroad tracks. Well, okay, and so I went around and went back up. I returned to my country in another way, as they say in Matthew, and. Now I have no idea why they're doing this. It says it's a rolling closure, and is this repaving? Is it? Who knows? Well, in any case, so I got there in time, although only about 7 minutes before 8, which is really unusual for me. I usually get there 20 minutes ahead of time. But I like to sit there in the quiet, and contemplate where I stand. And that's the whole point, isn't it? well, that's one of the points. And so our deacon gave the sermon today. She's good. And now I took notes. I mean, it moved me to take notes, and I've given myself some homework assignments here, which I haven't done today. I haven't, I thought, well, I'll just get home and do it right away. But I thought, well, but it's there on the table. I've got it all listed out. I'll look at it. Some of it has to do with a Greek word and concept, how that word's translated, and some of it has to do with well, gratitude. Gratitude in everything, gratitude for everything. Interesting distinction. So I'll have to think about that some. But that's not today's situation. So I went in, and we were fairly small. I mean, sometimes we're getting about 35, 40 people at the 8 o'clock service, but we were down to around 20, 22 today, and that happens sometimes, occasionally. And so go in and have a piece of cheese, have a cracker, and shoot the breeze with people. And one guy's granddaughter had he pulled out one of these smartphones, and he's flipping around on all the pictures. Flip, 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 flip. And this young woman had, well, apparently she was either trying to do a header in a soccer game, or had been offered the opportunity to do a header in a soccer game, but it turned out to be more of a facer than a header. So she's got this laceration, on her face, and it had been sewn up, and it looked like it had been sewn up in a proper plastically surgical way, with really fine stitches with nylon, very, very small, small gauge nylon, and it's on the face, so that's a very vascular area. So they'll take those things out after 5 or 6 days at the latest, and then they'll give her some salve on it, and some steroid salve. And I said to Jack, well, short of this thing actually taking a divot out of her face, witness divot. She'll, 3 or 4 years, you're not going to even see this, if it's handled properly, generally. It's biology, guys. Nothing's 100%, and except death. And so, then another woman, our church treasurer, whose son plays, well, all 3 of her sons have been very involved in sports. Well, 2 of them certainly have been very involved in sports. The other one was more, he sort of trod his own path. And, all very good souls. And she was talking about how, I guess, her youngest fellow, who actually is one of our lay readers now, and he does a very good job, and had some sort of head trauma, quasi head trauma injury with one of these soccer things, and it's in high school gym class we had to do soccer. And there are several hours of my time I'll never get back, and still one learns things, and they'd say, practice this header, and I'm thinking, you know, I'll tell you, you know, any contact with my head, for any reason whatsoever, generally gives me just a tremendous headache, and it always has done. You know, from my youngest childhood days on, even to today. So, no, I don't find it fun to choose to hit an object with my head, and certainly not in the interest of sports. I suppose if I was one of these bar fighters you see in some of these English movies, you know, where they headbutt people all the time, and that'd still give me a headache, though. I guess maybe I'd win, maybe, but either that or I'd lose, but it'd still give me a headache. So you know, it was kind of an interesting coffee hour, quote, coffee, unquote, hour, quote, hour, unquote, hour. But we have a veterinarian who's a veterinary ophthalmologist, world renowned, by the way. Goes all over the world talking about animal eyeballs and how to treat them and this, that, and the other, and consults and flies all over the place, consulting for animal eyeball problems, and he also does a lot of the custom woodworking for the church. He's 83, turned 83 today, so as they were getting ready, he and his wife were getting ready to go off to see one of their kids out of state, and they were going to start driving right from the church. And so we all gathered outside and sang him happy birthday. He's 83. So. Wow, you know, he's a magnificent individual. And I guess he got his veterinary degree here 50 years ago. Now that means he was 33 when he got it. So I have no idea what he did between like an undergraduate degree and a veterinary degree. So I thought I knew a fair amount about this man, but apparently I don't. Well, we all think that about other people we think we know, don't we? Unless we really, truly know them. Well, I'm going to save the stories on my list for perhaps another day, because they'll keep. Meanwhile, I'll probably think of some other things to write down and add to it. You know, this is fodder for the long winter here, guys, and it's going to be a cold, long winter. I'm telling you that right now. So on that note, I'm going to say bye-bye, YouTubers. I hope y'all are well. Herewith the creek.